Hello everyone. Welcome to your Vinyasa practice. Today we're going to start out in child's pose. And so if you want to pad your knees, you totally can. If you have a hard time with child's pose because there's a lot of space in between hips and heels, you can always slide a pillow or some blankets in between that space. And likewise, you can always stack your hands underneath your forehead or slide a prop underneath your forehead if the forehead feels far away from the floor in child's pose. Today I'd like to offer the option to take the knees wide and the big toes touching, and then drape your belly in between the thighs, extending the arms forward if that feels okay on the shoulders, and letting the forehead rest on something tangible. Again, props are totally okay here to use if the floor feels far away. We'll take some deep, slow breaths here as we begin to feel the weight of our body releasing down into the mat. It's very normal if you've been kind of still or seated, not moving your body, for it to feel rather stiff at first. And so take the time to let things settle. Breathe into any tender places. See if you can start to breathe in and out through the nose here. We'll take about 3 to 4 more breaths in child's pose. Last deep breath in. Deep breath out. Walking the hands underneath the shoulders, sitting up. Come forward onto the knees, tuck the toes under, and then shift the weight back towards the heels. So tuck the toes under and shift the weight back towards the heels. This is a toe squat. I like to always reach around and grab the pinky toes and make sure they're pointing in the same direction as the rest of the toes. And then as you're shifting the weight back towards the heels, if that's way too much on the feet, you can always stand up on the knees or bring weight forward into the hands. We'll take about 3 to 4 breaths here. Breathing into the sensation, wherever that sensation is. Typically, it's going to be where your tissues are most tightest. Last 2 breaths here. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bring the weight forward into the hands, untuck the toes, and tap out the tops of the feet. And then we'll cross our ankles behind us and roll the sits bones back over the feet, coming into a seated position. Left knee bent, shin down on the mat. Pick up your right knee, hold it in your right hand. Left hand's holding the sole of the right foot, and then just rock the foot side to side. So it's a little bit like a half pigeon prep or hip opener prep, sometimes referred to as rock the baby. As you can see, it's like you're rocking your legs side to side. All right, and then we'll take the sole of the left foot, plant it flat on the mat, take that right ankle on top of the left knee, and then place your hands behind your hips. So you're in a seated figure 4. I like to scoop my hips a little bit closer towards that left hip, and then rock that figure 4 side to side. Okay, so right ankle to left knee, seated figure 4, hands behind you. And then we're gonna roll down onto the forearms and the elbows. You can keep that figure 4 rocking side to side, and then we'll come all the way down onto the back with the legs in figure 4. Take this left foot, heel toe it across the body towards the right side, and roll that figure 4 off to your left. Okay, so sole of the right foot is planted, maybe it's on the floor or a prop. Outer edge of the left leg is relaxed to the mat. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Bring that figure four back upright so you're on the sole of your left foot. One more time, hug that right leg towards the chest like you're rocking the baby on the floor here. And then we're going to take this into half happy baby. So right foot into right hand. Pull that right knee wide towards the armpit. Left leg, it can stretch straight forward or the knee can stay bent. Just take a few breaths here. Half happy baby. A lot of lower leg work, a lot of focus on hips, knees, ankles, range of motion in those joints, and strengthening the muscles, as well as lengthening the muscles around those joints. Let's begin to hug both knees into the chest, right knee, left knee. Give yourself a little squeeze, rock a little side to side. And then we'll rock the length of the mat, forward, backward, tip of the tailbone towards the back of the head a few times. And then we'll come back up to that seated position. And then we'll take that right shin to the mat, keep that knee bent, and then pick up the left foot with the right hand, left hand to left knee. You're just coming to the second side. Rock that baby side to side. Rock the legs side to side. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then we'll place this left ankle on top of right knee, sole of the right foot on the mat. Hands walk behind the hips. Scoot those hips close to that right heel. You're in this seated figure four. And start to rock that figure four side to side. We'll start to come down onto the elbows and the forearms, continue to move that figure four side to side. And then all the way onto the back. And heel toe that right foot off to the left side. And then turn your figure four all the way off to the right. So outer edge of right leg towards the mat, sole of the left foot on the floor or the mat. Big breath in here. Big breath out. Two more deep, slow breaths in and out through the nose. Turn that figure four back upright so you're on the sole of the right foot, and then we'll pull this left foot into half happy baby. So you're reaching the left hand around the outer edge of the left foot, pull that knee wide, half happy baby there. Right leg, it can extend forward, or you can also keep the knee bent and plant that foot. A couple deep breaths here. One more time into that rock that baby or rock the leg position. So you're going to take your right hand, outer edge of the left foot, hold that, left hand to outer left knee. It's like you're trying to pull your foot. It's like you're trying to pull your right foot, or sorry, your left foot towards the right side of your chest. So it's basically you're in pigeon upside down. You're in pigeon on your back. Add a little movement there, rock it side to side. Hug that left knee into the chest, hug the right knee into the chest, both knees hugging into the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. You can reach for your opposite wrists, maybe eventually opposite forearms or opposite elbows. Rock a little side to side here. And then we'll rock the length of the mat. Forward towards the tip of the tailbone, all the way back to the back of the head. And we'll come forward, crossing the ankles, come into tabletop. In your tabletop, stack the wrist underneath the shoulders and then extend your right leg back behind you. And then turn your left toes off to the left. They might come off of the mat. Open your right hip towards the ceiling. Flex your right toes towards your face. Right foot is off the mat, right arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Basically, you are in half moon pose on your left knee. Okay, so it's like half moon pose on your left knee. Right arm extended, right leg extended. Big breath in, big breath out. Now maybe bend your right knee, heel towards the glute, right hand reaches back. You might bind the right hand to the outer ankle. If you're getting that bind, kick the foot into the hand. And this is a valuable thing to practice even if that hand doesn't reach the foot, just squeezing that right heel in towards the glute, reaching the right hand back in space. So much value there, building strength around those joints. Deep breath in. Whether or not you have a hold of the foot, re-extend both limbs, right arm, right leg, and then pull that right knee in towards the chest. Plant the right foot at the top of the mat. Right palm releases. Okay, so you're setting up for a deep low lunge. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Wiggle that left leg back. Long, long, long through that back left leg. And then set the knee back down. Okay, again, so right foot is forward. It's at the top of the mat. And then wobble a little bit side to side here. Get heavy in the hips. Add a little bit of movement, explore. One more deep breath in, deep breath out. Good, and then let's turn those right toes off of the mat. So right toes turn outward off of the mat. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee. Step your left foot forward outside of the left hand. Feet are wide, toes are wide. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Malasana at the top of the mat. You can always, you were with me in the flow last week, we rolled that yoga mat underneath our heels to give the heels a little bit of support, especially if it's hard for your heels to rest on the floor. Give them a little support. I find it helpful in my body to take a wider stance when my hips are feeling really tight. Take one more breath in Malasana. And then lift the hips up, turn the toes to point forward, relax the upper body over the lower body. Big breath in here. Big breath out. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Use your core. That includes your back muscles. Deep breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step back to high plank. Pause in your high plank. Shift forward onto the toes. Press the floor away, round the upper back. Modified chaturanga, set the knees down, bend the elbows, and then press up to low cobra. Low cobra. Exhale, lower, release. Tuck the toes under here. Press up and back, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep bend in your right knee. Deep bend in your right knee. Keep that left leg straight. See if you can press that left heel a little bit closer towards the mat. Pause here, breathe. One more breath on this side. And then we'll switch sides. So right heel lowers, right leg straight, left knee deep bend. Deep bend in the left knee. 2 deep breaths here. All right, let's shift forward, high plank. Lower the knees to the mat. You're coming back to tabletop. We're going to do all of that on the second side. Left leg will extend back behind you. Right toes pivot off the mat. Left hip opens, left foot floats off the mat. Flex the toes towards the face. Extend the left arm towards the ceiling. So now the left arm and the left leg are extending. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now maybe bend that left knee. Left heel towards the glute, reach back with the left hand. Again, you can stay here without binding, but if the ankle is right there, you can go ahead, grab a hold of the outer ankle. And if you're taking that bind, kick the foot into the hand. So stay active in the leg. Don't let the leg go limp. Okay? Whether or not you have a hold of the ankle, deep breath in. Press the floor away with that right hand. And then everyone release the leg and the arm. Extend through the left leg, extend up, forward. Plant the left foot at the top of the mat. Lower the left palm inside the left foot. So you're starting to set up for that deep low lunge. Let's set up that back leg. We're going to adjust it a little bit. Tuck the toes under, lift the right knee, wiggle the foot back until you feel some length along that right thigh. And then set the knee back down and start to move around a little bit, explore this. So I like to roll to the inner and outer edge of my left foot. I like to shift the weight into my right palm and my left palm. And just kind of search out any places that feel like, ooh, that's a spot I should probably pay attention to. And take a few breaths. 2 more breaths here. All right, let's tuck those back toes under. Turn those left toes off the mat. Okay, left toes off the mat. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Step that right foot forward to the outer right hand. Toes are turned out, feet are wide. Lower the hips, deep bend in those knees, Malasana. Remember, you can always use props underneath the heel bones, especially if the heels tend to lift off the floor. 2 breaths in Malasana. Let's lift the hips up. Turn the toes to point forward, feet are parallel. Relax the upper body over the legs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take 1 more deep breath in here. Relax the head. Inhale, halfway lift. Use the core. Include those back muscles in that. Exhale, bend the knees enough to plant the palms, and we'll step back to high plank, and we'll pause again in high plank. Shifting forward onto those toes, tucking the tailbone under. There's a slight round through the upper back. Option for modified chaturanga, or leave the knees lifted, lower through the elbows, and then maybe press up to upward facing dog, or another round of low cobra. Exhale, press your weight back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. We'll move through a few standing poses, warrior 1, warrior 2, Ardha Chandrasana standing. I'm going to give you a few options for binds as well. Okay, pressing through both palms, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot forward. Spin that left foot flat at an angle. We're setting up for warrior 1 first. So deep bend in that right knee, back foot at that 45-degree angle. Lift the torso, stretch the arms overhead. If you need to adjust the feet, I like to take a wide stance with my right foot, so I heel toe it off to the right side. And then I check out my back foot and make sure that the pinky toe edge of the foot is firmly pressing down into the mat. Deep breath in here. See if you can slightly tuck the tailbone under, engage that back leg. And then let's transition the feet into warrior 2. So heel toe that right foot to the center of the mat. Back foot is parallel now with the short edge of the mat, arms spread wide. Warrior 2. Deep bend in that right knee. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Left hand to left hip, right arm's going to reach forward towards the upper outer corner of your mat. You can use a prop here, maybe a block or a chair or stool, as you float that left leg up and out of the hip. Okay, so Ardha Chandrasana standing. Now remember, you just did this on your knee in the beginning when we were warming up, and it gave you that option to bind. So here too, you can either stay here extending left limbs, or bending that left knee towards the chest. I find it's helpful to bend the left knee towards the chest, grab the outer ankle, and then kick the foot back into the hand. If you're taking that bind, big breath in. Stay pressing down through the inner edge of your right foot. Engage that right quadricep. So the right leg's really active here. If you've got the bind, start to release it, re-extend into Ardha Chandrasana, left limbs. And then exhale, left palm plants at the top of the mat, left toes touch down at the back of the mat, so you're in a low lunge. Step back, high plank. Option to move through chaturanga, up dog. Option to skip that altogether. You can always take tabletop to cat-cow. It's a great alternative. or even just simply resting in child's pose for a few breaths. Wherever you are, let's take 3 grounding breaths. In and out through the nose. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog if you're not already there. Pressing through both palms, inhale left leg, stretch it up and back. Left foot forward, plant it firmly between the hands. Spin the right foot flat at the back of the mat. Find that 45-degree angle with the foot. Deep bend in the left knee as you sweep the arms out and up. Warrior one, press down through the pinky toe edge of your back foot. Deep bend in that left knee. Shoulders and torso turns to square with the top of the mat. Big breath in here. See if you can slightly tuck that tailbone under and really engage through the outer right leg. One more breath here. And then we'll transition the feet and the arms into warrior two. So heel toe that left foot to the center of the mat. Back foot pivots parallel with the short edge of the mat and arms spread wide. And then check out shoulders in relationship to hips. A lot of times I see shoulders shift forward of hips. See if you can stack them nice and tall on top of the hips, nice and tall through the spine. Turn and gaze over your left fingertips. Big breath in here. Big breath out. Right hand to right hip. Left fingertips reach forward to the upper outer corner of your mat. Maybe you reach for a prop there to bring the floor up to meet you. And then we'll float that right leg up and back out of the hip socket. Flex the toes towards the face, root down through the left big toe mound of the foot. And then option to bind. If you're gonna take that bind, here's something to try. Pull that right knee in towards the chest first, then reach the hand to the outer ankle. Maybe it's a little bit easier to bind hand to outer ankle. Once you've got that connection, then you can pull the right knee back, kick the foot into the hand, and open up across that right side body. One more deep breath in here. If you've got the bind, start to release it. Everyone extend through the right limbs. Right fingertips to the floor, top of the mat. Touch down through the back toes. Find that lunge. And then plant those palms flat as you step back to high plank. Option to move through one more flow here. And then you can move back to child's pose or downward facing dog, your choice. We're going to start to slow it down. Setting up for half pigeon, right knee forward towards right wrist. Extending the left leg back long, just like you would in your low lunge. Tuck the toes under, wiggle the foot back until you find some length along that left leg. And then roll the weight towards that right hip and see if you can get your right ankle in line with your right knee. So in other words, right shin bone, try to get a little bit more parallel with the top edge of the mat. Now you can probably see, if you're looking at me, I've got all my weight resting on my right hip right now, and I'm bracing myself off to the right side a little bit. That's okay. It's okay to do that. I'd worry less about what the back leg is doing and more about what the front leg is doing, okay? Walk the hands forward. You can stay on your fingertips here. You can press down through the palms. When your body gives you the signal, and by signal, I mean listen to the breath, listen to the tension, don't force it, don't push beyond your maximum threshold. But if it's possible, and if your body's like, yep, go further, you can start to walk down to forearms and elbows and fold over that right shin, pigeon. We'll take a little bit more time here, about 5 breaths. On your inhale breath, imagine as if you could fill up the belly, then fill up the rib cage, then the chest, and then all the way out through the nose. So you could imagine 3 parts to that inhale. Fill up belly, Fill up rib cage, fill up chest, all the way out through the nose. Try that twice more. Belly, rib cage, chest, out through the nose. If you are folded over that front shin, press up to palms. Send that right leg back. Take a moment in either downward facing dog or tabletop. You could extend one leg back and then the other. Just lengthen out a little bit through the legs. And then we'll take second side, left knee forward towards left wrist. Wiggle that right foot back, get long, long, long through that right leg, and then maybe roll that weight to that left hip and see if you can pull that left ankle forward until it's in line with the left knee, or in other words, the shin is parallel with the top edge of the mat. Now again, you can see I'm on my left hip. This back leg, it's not really that straight, that's okay. I'm gonna worry more about the alignment of the front leg. And then I'm gonna walk my hands forward. And I'm gonna notice where I feel that resistance in my hip. For me, it's my outer left hip. And so that's what has me kind of shifted off to that left side. So I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna breathe in and be patient, or practice being patient. It is a practice. And then when my body tells me it's okay, maybe walk down onto forearms and elbows, or you can always add props underneath your body, your chest. And again, we'll stay for 5 breaths. I might practice that 3-part inhale, breathing in through belly. Imagine you're breathing in through the rib cage. Imagine you're breathing into the chest. And then exhale all the air out through the nose. Inhale belly, rib cage, chest, out through nose. Try that 3 more times on your own. All right, let's start to come back up. If you're folded over that front shin, roll all of the weight back onto that left hip so you can free your right leg forward, rolling down onto the back body, hugging the knees into the chest. A little bit rock side to side. Option to take happy baby one last time, or any last movement, shape shifting that you are craving. When you're ready for Shavasana, start to stretch on out. I'm going to set us a timer here for a minute in Shavasana. Shrugging the shoulders down the back, maybe taking one hand to the belly and one hand to the rib cage. And as you settle in here, breathing in and out through the nose, closing the eyes, just practice letting it go and let it rest. Please feel free to stay in Shavasana longer if you have the time. If you need to move on with your day, begin to awaken through your fingertips and your toes. When you're ready, you can extend the arms overhead, breathing into the length of the body, and bending the knees and rolling off to your right hand side. And then pressing to an upright seat. We'll just take a moment to close out our practice. Sitting up nice and tall, hands resting on top of thighs or knees, shoulders shifting over hips. Maybe the eyes are still closed. Deep breath in. Imagine you could create more space and length through each vertebrae, growing tall through the spine. And breathing out, feeling your knees, your ankles, your hips relax and ground into the floor. Deep breath into the belly, rib cage, chest. Long breath out through the nose. One more time, deep breath into the belly, rib cage, chest. And let it go through the nose. Joining the hands together at the heart and bowing the chin into the chest. Taking a moment here to offer reverence and gratitude for your practice. May you remember that you will always be okay. May you find a light that guides you and keeps you safe. And may you have hope, help, and happiness along the way. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. And hope you come back again soon. Bye.